Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something old and something quite rare indeed, especially here in the UK. We are looking at the 2007 release by Art Asylum and Diamond Select from their Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan series of 25th anniversary action figures. Now these action figures were 7 inches tall and they were all in line with the Art Asylum action figures that they produced for the series of Star Trek. Okay, now these were produced in 2007, marking the 25th anniversary of The Wrath of Khan, which was made in 1982. And this particular figure we are looking at today is of the Reliance Executive Officer, Mr. Pavel Chekov, and this is the figure in front of us. And this particular action figure itself was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so it was only available from the San Diego Comic-Con in 2007. Okay, so this is the card it comes on, and you can see at the back of the card at the top you got an image of Karnunian Singh, Admiral James T. Kirk, Captain Spock, and Dr. Leonard McCoy. And behind the bubble, you can see the action figure of Executive Officer Pavel Chekov. And you can see he comes with a wrist communicator, interchangeable hands, the Ceti Alpha 5 Beast, and the Starfleet phaser. And at the bottom it says Executive Officer Chekov with Starfleet Gear, San Diego Comic-Con International, original Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan action figures. Okay, that's the front of the card. Let's turn the card around now and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around and I've had to dim the lights a little bit actually, because the light was reflecting off the back of the card because it's a very shiny surface. I've dimmed the light so we can see the card properly. Okay, so on the back of the card, it says, Khan! Which is what Kirk shouted when he was marooned on Genesis. And it says, the unexpected discovery of a very bitter Karnunian Singh means disaster for Admiral James T. Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise. More ruthless and cunning than ever, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan features the greatest adversary Admiral Kirk has ever faced in a final showdown with the fate of the Enterprise and maybe the universe hanging in the balance. Celebrate the 25th anniversary of the ultimate Star Trek movie with a complete line of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan collectibles from Diamond Select Toys. And it says, Series 1 includes Admiral Kirk, Khan, Captain Terrell, and Double Cross Kirk. And it says, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So you've got McCoy, Chekov, Sulu, and Scotty. And you've got Series 2, which was Captain Spock, Uhura, Lieutenant Savick, and Regila 1 Kirk. And then you've also got the Wrath of Khan, USS Enterprise, and the Star Trek Mini-Mates figures. Paramount logo, CBS logo, Diamond Select logo, Art Asylum logos, and the toy logos at the bottom. It says the Wrath of Khan Chekov, SDCC exclusive, and the barcode at the bottom. Diamond Comic Distributors, and there are details at the bottom. Ages not suitable for children under 3, and all the copyright information at the bottom of the card. Okay, so that's the back of the card. So let's turn it back round to the front. Let's add a bit more light back into it again, and let's have a look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've turned the card back round to the front. I'll put some light back on it again, and there you can see Executive Officer Pavel Chekov in his Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan uniform, which is his Reb tunic, which is done up with a clasp at the top shoulder. He's got his Starfleet badge on and his Starfleet belt, and he is also wearing his black trousers and his black boots, as you can see at the bottom there. Now, looking at Pavel Chekov's face, I mean, that's not a bad likeness, I must say. It's very, very good done. The moulding, the casting, the sculpting is very good. At the time, obviously 1982, we are going back now 42 years ago. when the movie was actually produced. Walter Koenig, who played Pavel Chekov, does look incredibly like him as he appeared in 1982 for the movie. But yeah, very, very good likeness. The sculpting on these figures, the Art Asylum figures, were just phenomenal. They really did know how to make action figures, and all the action figures also had fantastic articulation. So let's have a zoom out and have a look at his accessories. So he comes there, if you can just see that, let's just bring that in closer so we can have a better look. So he comes with that wrist communicator that he wore. If you can just see it in the corner there, that's the wrist communicator that he was wearing when he was speaking to Khan, who was on the Reliant, and he was on aboard the USS. No, he wasn't aboard the USS Enterprise. He was on Genesis, and that's where Khan stole the Genesis device. So Chekov comes with two replacement hands, and the replacement hands, you can see the lugs on the bottom of the hands. They just pull out, and the new hands just pop in. And there you've got the Ceti Alpha 5 creature, which had those young that Khan took out of the body and put into the ears of Chekov and his captain. And there, of course, you can see the phaser that they used, experimented with this type of phaser for a little while in the movies, and I think for the first few films they had that particular type of phaser, and that is again one of those phasers. So articulation wise, I mean, you can see just by looking at Chekov there, let's just oops, I'm knocking everything over now. Let's just angle them up a little bit, and you can literally see the articulation on his body. So the head turns, see it turns left and right. The arms, shoulder arms go up and down. You've then got twist sections at the biceps, and you've got again articulation on the elbows. So you've got 3 points of articulation on each arm, and the head, that's 7 points already. So you've got the waist, you've got the top of the legs which move up and down. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. You've got the knee joints, 12, 13, and you've got the feet, 14, 15 points of articulation there that I'm aware. I mean, it could be more, but that's what I'm seeing at the moment by looking at this figure. Now, they say that the figure is 7 inches, and that's what it is advertised as. So let's measure him and see if that is true. So we're looking at 20 centimeters, and what does that account to? That accounts to 8 inches, maybe. It's about, yeah, probably is about 7 inches in actual fact. Width-wise, we are looking at about 6, maybe 6 or 7 centimeters, and depth-wise, we're looking at 3 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size of Pavel Chekov. And I must say, the uniforms that they wore in Star Trek 2 and onwards were just, I think they're just fantastic uniforms. They're probably the best uniforms that the whole of the original cast ever wore. I really did like that that uniform with the turtleneck and the red over jacket. Anyway, how well did these figures do? Well, these were this particular one was an exclusive figure, and it was only available from the San Diego Comic Con of 2007. So very limited edition. So I don't particularly know how many were produced, and I don't know. Well, I know they sold out, but I don't know what the numbers were. Over in the UK, very difficult to find these figures. Art Asylum figures were usually just brought in by certain importers, like Gear for Games, someone like that had access to bring them in, because they weren't readily available in the UK. So finding them in the UK was quite difficult. You would have to go to specialist shops to find them. You could pick them up on the internet. They were available on platforms, and certain sci-fi specialist stores had them, but they were quite difficult to find. They were not in your average toy shop or collector shop. So yeah, quite difficult to find at the time, especially the Comic Con exclusive ones were very, very difficult to find. In fact, if you weren't at the Comic Con, you couldn't get them. Simple as that. However, you did start to see a few of them pop up on the platforms. Exaggerated prices, I must say, but they did pop up on the platforms from time to time. However, now we are talking 17 years on. These figures are now incredibly hard to find, yeah, just especially in this mint unopened condition. They do pop up from time to time on the platforms, but not very often. You do see the standard figures up a lot more often than the Comic Con exclusive ones, but as I say, the Comic Con exclusive ones are very, very hard to find. But as usual, we at Midas Touch have managed to find one or two, and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive this is not something you want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.